You ever heard of that PewDiePie meme, Floor Gang? Yeah, that's how I'm recording today. Hello everybody and welcome to Alex's AI Racing series. Today we're here in Germany at the Hockenheim ring for the German Grand Prix, of course. Round 7 of the championship, meaning we're at the middle of the year and things are really starting to hot up. The gap between Thomas McHugh and Reina Akikawa for first position in the championship is just 8 points, with Akikawa having 1 retirement to McHugh's 0. And so it's been very close between those two. And indeed, it looks like the pack behind the two Williams are really coming together a little bit more. As last time out, of course, in Silverstone, we had our first ever non-Williams win this season for Finley Taylor, who won the race, and he was incredibly happy about that. However, without further ado, let's get down to the grid and tell you the grid positions. So, in pole position for today's race, we have Thomas McHugh, followed by Reina Akikawa, the two Williams locking out the front row for the countless amounts of times this season. Then we have Isabel Harvey and Finley Taylor rounding out the row 2. Then we have Mitchell Langenberg and Louis Sage in 5th and 6th, Camille Fever and Christopher Coben 7th and 8th. Noah's Ark 2x2 all the way down to 8th. The top 4 teams really asserting their dominance. Then we have Aaron Curtis for Ligier, Samuel Gradin for Tyrrell, Nicolas Arcitano and Ronnie Sheffer. 4 different cars in the top positions 9 to 12. Then we have Alan Kopich, brilliant performance last time out at Silverstone, would have been my driver of the day if that existed in 1992. Ji-Chan Won didn't qualify for the British Grand Prix, he's lining up 14th, so pretty decent from him. Squid McCormick in 15th, then we have Teller, Barton, Schultz and Guidi, another person who had a pretty fantastic race last time out. Brian Smith 20th, Roberto Bighetti 21st, Juan Luis Ramirez in that Fon Metal, good qualifying from him, out-qualifying both Jordans, they line up 23rd and 24th, TJ Nisbet as well, 25th, but at least he qualified, and Madin Kozadik rounds out the 26 car grid. So without further ado, let's get to the, looks like 4 red lights, and away for the 21 lap German Grand Prix. So here we go. As they rev up now, we're going to wait for the lights to come on, and we're going to go on board with McHugh. Lights are out and away we go, and it's a decent start from McHugh. Akikawa alongside doesn't get the best of starts. Isabel Harvey looking on the outside, but Akikawa blocks her off, and in fact Akikawa's gone off the circuit and she's down to 4th. So Akikawa, a very bad start, and has allowed Isabel Harvey and Mitchell Langenberg to get onto the podium currently. Going down a little bit further, you can see Akikawa is being slipstreamed. Finley Taylor and Christopher Coben right in that slipstream. And Akikawa getting a little bit sideways. Indeed, as well as that, the Christopher Coben Ferrari, as well as that, getting incredibly sideways on exits. But currently your race leader is Thomas McHugh. We ride back on board with Thomas McHugh as he's opened up a half a second lead on Isabel Harvey, coming down into the final proper chicane on this, of course, the old layout of Hockenheim. And currently you can see the top 2 breaking away a little bit as everyone goes past the chicane in the background. Reina Akikawa has made her way up into 3rd now, passing Mitchell Langenberg, and Mitchell Langenberg has not had enough of that. He tries to go up the inside, doesn't quite make it work. So on board now with Finley Taylor as he goes up the inside of Michel Langenberg, and that's a good pass, but he's not quite passed just yet. As you can see looking back, the two Benettons are trying to fight with Mr. Finley Taylor as we have a yellow. I'm not entirely sure why we have a yellow. It might be my crash car. Anyways, up front now once again, we're having a little look with Isabel Harvey, as Isabel Harvey right on back of McHugh, and the slipstream is really powerful around this circuit, as you can see, hitting 190 miles an hour as we have a retirement already. I was going to pull away, but I thought Isabel Harvey was going to dive down the inside into the first of the few chicanes we have around this circuit, and indeed we have got a retirement, and it's Camille Feather. So Camille Feather has So it looks to me that Camille Feather has come around the final corner and pulled off to the left where the drag strip now is, and Feather is out of this race already. The Ferrari reliability really playing up once again. We'll go back to the front though once again as we see Thomas McHugh defending from Isabel Harvey coming down the straight. It's those two looking hot for the win so far this race, but only on lap 2 of 21. It's going to be a long onslaught for these drivers, and a lot of straights means that a lot of slipstreaming, as indeed here comes Isabel Harvey. She was looking up the inside there. I'm going to go on board once again. As you can see, Harvey right on McHugh's gearbox, coming out of the last of the 3 chicanes on the old layout. Looks like McHugh got a good exit, but of course Harvey is going to be able to just slipstream her way up, and she's looking up the inside. No contact, but that's very close. And are onto the Sachs curve now once again. A good overtaking opportunity in all of the stadium section really. Harvey is just biding her time though and watching to see where McHugh is weak and where he is strong. Going back further then, we have Akikawa, who's broken away from Finley Taylor and now trying to catch the lead group after a poor start. Then we have Finley Taylor, the winner last time out. Then we have Louis Sage and Michel Langenberg, the 2 Benetton drivers running in 5th and 6th. Nicolo Sciacatano running 7th currently, as both Ferraris have seemingly vanished. Hang on, has the other Ferrari vanished? Where is Coburn? I think I see Coburn there. Indeed, Coburn is down in 13th. What has happened to him? I can only assume he made a mistake, as here comes Coburn up the inside of, I think that was Aaron Curtis in the Ligier. He's really forcing his way through, so fighting back from making a mistake. Christopher Coburn now is only lining up in 12th, and so that is not very good from him. Having a little look here though, we have a battle between McCormick and Kopich, albeit it looks like McCormick has made an absolutely brilliant exit coming out of the top side of the circuit. And indeed they all caught the battle of Ronnie Sheffer versus Sammy Gradin. And indeed here comes Kopich using his aggressive and at the same time clean technique to try and get a move done. He doesn't quite do so, but you can see how good that Ilmor engine is performing in the slipstream. It's really got the legs, and as you can see, they're going to go almost 3 wide, going down into the right-hander. They don't go 3 wide, but Alan Kopich has made a double overtake, and Gradin has pushed his teammate out. Well, not out, but off the circuit almost. Alan Kopich, he's going to be very miffed. The Tyrrell Pitwell, in fact, there's McCormick running across the grass, and Jin Chan Won's now coming, and he's going to go all the way up the inside, and I think actually something's happened to Samuel Gradin. Where is Samuel Gradin? Oh, he's pulled into the pit. Perhaps he had a gearbox failure and couldn't control his car, and that is why he's hit Kopich, but he's given his teammate damage. This is absolutely fascinating in the midfield, and as you can see, everyone is really jostling for position. In this little pack, you've got so much diversity in terms of what car it is. There's even a Fon Metal on the back of this, but currently leading this pack we have Christopher Coburn, who is being followed by Kopich, who's just been absolutely shafted by his teammate, and his teammate is out of this race. Jin Chan Won currently in 9th. He's doing an absolutely brilliant job. Ronnie Sheffer has managed to get away thanks to all of that. We're going to have a little look with Nicolo Sciacatano, as I'm going to get a nicer on board. We'll go with this. And as you can see, Sage trying to get past Langenberg, as Langenberg has got past Louis Sage. And I can see the marker up ahead. Thomas McHugh is now down in 3rd. I'm going to have a little look at that, but we'll come back to this battle for 5th position. So currently your race leader is Isabel Harvey, She is on lap 4, about to be lap 5, and she's got a 2.7 second lead over Reina Akikawa, who's now coming on strong, and following in behind Akikawa, as always, it's Finley Taylor. Thomas McHugh has dropped to 4th. Perhaps he just put his fuel mix down using less tyres and just saving that fuel for later, as of course this circuit, if you get slipstream, it's quite easy to catch up. Misha Langenberg is in 5th, and then we have Louis Sage and Shai Katano. I'm going to go back and show you the camera with Shai Katano, yes. And he's right on the back of Sage currently with that Mugen Honda engine. He's got a lot of drive, and he's going to look up the inside into the first of 3 chicanes. Doesn't quite make it work though. Shai Katano is still having a very good race though. So we're going to have a little look here as I'm going to go on board with Finley Taylor in the McLaren, the number 1 McLaren driver, you would say, as Isabel Harvey came into that team for Season 2 from Tyrrell, whereas Finley Taylor has been very loyal to the McLaren team, perhaps because Williams didn't actually offer him, which, you know, who knows whether he would have gone to Williams had they offered, but who knows? Only time will tell if that ever happens in future. Or will he be loyal to McLaren his entire career? As I can see in the background, it's Shai Katano who's overtaken Louis Sage's Benetton. And Shai Katano, this is an absolutely grand performance from him. He's up to 6th. Having a little look further back, as you can see going through the chicane in the background, you have a long train of cars, but we're going to have a little look with the other footwork of Squid McCormick, as he's being attacked from behind by Ferrari's Christopher Coburn, but ahead of him is Jin Chamon, who's now in the points, and that is really pretty fantastic from the Scuderia Italia driver. Last time out, Marcos Aguirre almost got points for the team, and of course, it wouldn't be their first time having points, as last season, you've got to remember, Scuderia Italia had Reina Akikawa, who really outperformed that car. Jin Chamon getting a little bit away though, and so perhaps he's really pushing early on to try and get that track position, because of course we don't have pit stops here, and so track position means everything really, because it's not going to change unless you go forwards or backwards. So Christopher Coburn just got past McCormick there, and Aaron Curtis gets a little bit too sideways coming out of the chicane, and yeah, he's having an alright time if I'm honest. We're going to go on board Geddy Schultz, who's made his way up to 14th in that Lotus, battling with his teammate. And as you can see behind, we have a Minardi and Ligier. He gets right into the back of teammate Sheffer. Bit of sideways action there, and he's lost a bit of ground, and now is coming under threat from TJ Nisbet in that Minardi. Nisbet in 15th, he would be absolutely ecstatic to have a performance above 20th, because really he's not had a good season at all. Nisbet has a little look, but as well as that, he's trying to defend from Brian Smith, and so doesn't quite get the move done. I'm going to go right up front. In fact, we can go up front if I'm honest. Just having a look there with McCormick, he was running a little bit slowly. I've noticed something. So the front 4 or behind hasn't really changed, but what I've just noticed is Alan Kopich, and Alan Kopich is out of this race, and I've just noticed that Samuel Gradin was out of this race, so it's a double DNF for Tyrrell Racing. That is really unfortunate. So only 3 retirements though so far, 2 of them Tyrrells and 1 of them a Ferrari. Up front once again though, we are on board with Isabel Harvey, as she is on lap 7 of 21 at 1/3 race distance, which of course means 2/3 race distance is lap 14, or having completed 14 laps. So Isabel Harvey here. And in behind we have Finley Taylor, who is actually closing down. The gap has gone down a little bit and is now it's changing, but about 1.8 seconds is the gap. Reina Akikawa as well, she's going to be trying to get onto that lead, as of course she wants to claw back points when you can see that Thomas McHugh is struggling currently for whatever reason, and he's down in 4th, and that would allow Akikawa, if Akikawa won and McHugh stayed in 4th, that'd be a 5-point gain to Akikawa, and that would really close up the championship. McHugh Langenberg as well, he's sensing a 4th place. Perhaps if he can get a wriggle on, he'll be able to fight for that win as well. That Benetton certainly looking pretty decent this weekend. And as well as that, I'd like to mention that McHugh Langenberg, once again, really leading that team at Benetton, and he's been doing a pretty fantastic job. 2 British teammates he's had with Joseph Murray Sr., now no longer in AIRS, and now Louis Sage, both British, and he's outperformed both of them, and both of them have shown themselves to be no slouch. As you can see, Langenberg really sizing up McHugh there, as McHugh gets a little bit sideways, a lack of grip a little bit, but nothing too serious, and Langenberg really wanting to get past now. We're going to go back on board with McHugh Langenberg. And Langenberg looking a little up the inside. McHugh, you can defend that line. A bit of contact, I think you heard. But it looks like Langenberg is being blocked off from 4th place by Thomas McHugh pretty well. And McHugh is really defending for his life. Perhaps he'll know if he gets overtaken now, he won't be able to come back. Perhaps his car and perhaps his setup just not quite working. One car that certainly is working currently, though, is the McLaren, and that McLaren 1-2 currently. How good would it be to see a McLaren 1-2? That would be fantastic, given everything they've worked for this season. The 2 drivers at McLaren certainly know what they're doing, and they've certainly both got a lot of raw talent. We're going to ride on board with Finley Taylor once again, though, as on the back of Isabel Harvey now. You know what? In a few races' time, perhaps if we see this renaissance from McLaren, they may be promoted to Tier 1. Something I wasn't expecting, if that is going to happen, but that would be a welcome addition to Tier 1, and a welcome addition back to people just not saying, oh, every race is going to be Williams's. Anyway, enough waffling. You can see right on the back now of Isabel Harvey is Finley Taylor. And again, a new camera angle for a little bit. We'll go for this. We'll go for a bit of that. And as you can see, Finley Taylor being a bit gentle with his teammates. I doubt there'll be any team orders. They just need to maintain their positions. And as you can see now, Finley Taylor sitting right in that slipstream, not going to pull out, or is he? Here he goes. Finley Taylor alongside, going down into the chicane. No contact made, but Finley Taylor showing that he is wanting to get past and try and lead this race. And so Finley Taylor is going to still sit in behind. And perhaps we'll see a move coming down into here. Yes, we do. Finley Taylor is right alongside. No contact made. And Finley Taylor is going to be on the outside coming into the Sachs curve. Isabel Harvey is going to maintain her line, but has her nose chopped off. And Finley Taylor is our new race leader. Going back a little further though, McHugh Langenberg has not got past Thomas McHugh. Thomas McHugh is defending fantastically currently. Reina Akikawa, given the fighting of the McLarens, has been closing up. I'm going to have a little look at who has the fastest lap of the race, and currently it's actually Louis Sage on 45.894, and that's a pretty quick time if I'm honest. I'm not entirely sure where Sage is. Here he is. He's down in 7th and he's being comfortably beaten by the footwork, so the fastest lap of the race is not what I expected him to have. Here's Christopher Coben. He goes around the first turn nice and smoothly. Marcus Aguirre also smoothly. He's up into 9th once again. I don't know what's happened to Chamon, because Chamon was running in 9th. Jin Chamwon is down in 21st. He must have made a mistake somewhere, because there's no way he would lose that much time, and I apologise for missing that. As I've just noticed, Vincenzo Zaccadelli is off the circuit, and I'm not entirely sure, perhaps his suspension's gone or something, but he is out of this race, and he is the 4th retirement of the race so far, and that's actually pretty surprising. I expected a little bit more at the start of this race, but perhaps we're going to see more retirements later on. Currently though, all focus is up front, as Isabel Harvey is going to try and do what Taylor did to her, and indeed she's made it absolutely cleanly stuck, and Isabel Harvey is passed into the race lead once again, of course. And actually you can see Reina Akikawa is really hot on their heels. What is she going to do? Let's find out. Reina Akikawa then. That Renault engine has a lot of power. I mean, so does the Honda. But that Williams is really just incredibly fast. And so I wouldn't be surprised by the end of this lap to see Akikawa has passed one, if not both, of the McLarens. Especially if they're going to keep squabbling like this. As actually I've just noticed, lap 11 of 21. We're over half race distance now. And as you can see, Finley Taylor wanting to get past Harvey, but perhaps not quite being too smart, as they've got to play the smart strategic game now, as it's not good to be keeping on fighting, as they're going to allow the Williams to get on the back, and in a straight fight I would have to put my money on the Williams. As you can see, looking behind, Reina Akikawa is going to go for Finley Taylor coming down into the chicane, getting a nice wide shot. You can see, as I said right at the start of the lap, what did I say? I would expect the Williams to overtake one, if not both, of the McLarens, and Akikawa has done just that, and now is in second place. Finley Taylor looking to snap straight back, Valentino Rossi style. Doesn't quite work out, and Akikawa on the charge now. She's going to be wanting to try and take the lead and control this race like we've seen her do so many times this season already. Let's have a little look at Thomas McHugh, as Thomas McHugh currently running 4th, and he's about 1.8 off Finley Taylor. So I think that Thomas McHugh is going to join the top 3, given a little bit more time, and time we do have currently, as we've got 9 laps to go in this race, and Thomas McHugh really, he's going to put his foot down soon. I can almost assure you. As you can see, Akikawa defending aggressively from Finley Taylor, and Finley Taylor perhaps not liking that. We're going to go on board. And as you can see, 180, 185, 188, almost 190. Yep, 190 just by the end of that straight. And remember, he's being held up, as this track is quite thin, and sometimes you just cannot pass someone on a straight. Finley Taylor once again, he's sitting in the slipstream. He's up to 190 once again. And down into the chicane, he looks up the inside, but it's not going to work. And on the exit, it looks like Akikawa's got a slightly better one. But now they're going to slipstream down into the right-hander, and let's see. I think Finley Taylor's going to eye up and move here. It's a pretty good overtaking spot to try and make that move. He tries, and he fails. I think he made a bit of contact there, and that has thrown him off. He dives late into that corner on the brakes. But Akikawa defends her second place currently, and they're actually letting Isabel Harvey have some breathing room. Not what I would have expected, if I'm honest, but you know. So crossing the line and entering lap 13 of 21, Isabel Harvey is still leading this race. I'm going to go out a little further and see our order. So Thomas McHugh is in 4th, as you can already see the top 3. Louis Sage is running 5th, followed by Nicolo Sciacatano and Marcus Aguirre. Christopher Coburn is running in 8th. Then we have Brian Smith, Aaron Curtis, Squid McCormick, Matthew Barton, Armani Risotto, Marin Kozarik. Looks like Baghetti has got past Sheffer just there. Pretty easy move for the March driver. Juanlu Ramirez is running in 17th. Then we have Michael Teller, TJ Nisbet, Jin Chao, Geddy Schultz. And I thought this was the case, but Michel Langenberg is out of this race, and I can only assume, it looks like he doesn't have any damage to me. I can't see anything. So I can only assume that he has had a mechanical failure, and he's out of this race. Same too with Vincenzo Zaccadelli. He's also out of this race. Then we have, of course, Alan Kopich, Gradin, and Fever, who were already out of this race ages ago. Reina Akikawa has just come under fire from Finley Taylor, and Finley Taylor is passed back into 2nd place, retaking the McLaren 1-2. I'm going to leave the front group for now and have a little look at battles down the field. And we're going to go with this. We're going to go on board with Kozarik. Let's go with this angle. And as you can see, right on the back of Armani Risotto and Matthew Barton, they're battling for 11th place, and the battle is 5-way, and this is going to be a tight one. But we're going to sit on board with Marin Kozarik, the Croatian. Coming down right into the corner, you can see Risotto eyeing up Barton. There's a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact, and in fact, Armani Risotto has somehow made it work and has actually overtaken Matthew Barton. Perhaps Matthew Barton just didn't defend aggressively enough. But Risotto is past. We have Marin Kozarik, who's also having a look now at Matthew Barton. Perhaps we'll see it into the Sachs curve. Not quite. Kozarik breaks a little deeper, but Barton is defending that position. Seeing Risotto pass and get away, perhaps you would say that Barton is not doing so well. We have a little yellow flag. I'm not entirely sure. There's a car in the pits. Oh, it's Aaron Curtis. Aaron Curtis is out. I can only assume that's a gearbox. That is the only way he would have pit, really. And so Aaron Curtis, I don't know what position he was running in. I don't think he was running too high up the order. But he is out of this race now, and we are down to, I believe, 21 runners, or 20, one of the two. Here's Reina Akikawa, though, as she looks up the inside of Finley Taylor into the right-hander, and Taylor trying to get his nose up the inside there. We're on lap 14, back into lap 15, but Finley Taylor has been dispatched by Akikawa, and Akikawa is going to retake 2nd and try and charge back at Isabel Harvey for the race win. Harvey, though, has been very good at dictating what happens in this race so far, though. And she's definitely led the most laps. I think that's pretty evident. As I've just noticed, Roni Sheffer is out of this race. I just noticed on the mini-map that I saw a number 20 stopped, and that is Roni Sheffer. And so currently we have Geddy Schultz in 18th in that Lotus, really not doing a fine job. And Rodi Sheffer's just retired from the race with a mechanical. As you can see, Jin Chamwon as well is looking up the inside into the right-hander. We have a big battle here. I'm gonna have to look at the leaders in a second, but here you go. It's a 5-way battle for, I believe it is around 15th position, between two Minardis, a Lotus, a March, and a Scuderia Italia. Up front, though, it is really heating up. As you can see, Thomas McHugh has closed up on teammate Akikawa, and now we're going to see a Williams on Williams civil war. And here comes McHugh now. Going to look to the inside on this right-hander now. Has a little look, no contact made and no pass made. McHugh just going to be a little bit more patient. Of course, I mentioned we have a lot of time to spare, and so it's not critical for McHugh to get past Akikawa. Perhaps he's thinking about the championship situation as well. If he throws everything at getting past someone, he's really risking losing the car, and that would mean no points, of course. So perhaps he's got that in mind. But as you can see in the camera shot, we have the top four cars separated by, I believe it's only about 2-3 seconds in total. Behind the two McLarens and Williams though, we have Louis Sage, who is a further 8 seconds off the back of McHugh. Then we have Christopher Coburn, who's just come across the line now. The gap back from Sage to Coburn is over 20 seconds, so Sage has somehow got away from Coburn. I mean, the Benetton is a better car by far, but you know. Here's Nicolo Sciacatano, currently running in 7th place. And then we have behind Marcos Aguirre, Brian Smith, Armani Risotto, Marin Kozadik, Roberto Baghetti, Squid McCormick, Juan Lu Ramirez. Juan Lu Ramirez is in 14th. That would be absolutely brilliant for the Full Metal team. Going back even further, we have Nisbet, Schultz, Chamon, Barton and Teller. Everything's kind of gone a little bit quiet. So what I'm going to do, or has it gone quiet? Isabel Harvey defending from the 3 drivers in behind. Harvey looking a little slow to me. And in fact, Finley Taylor's going to capitalise on that. And so is Reina Akikawa, as we have a new race leader. And that is Finley Taylor. Finley Taylor has taken the lead. Harvey down to 3rd. And we have a race on our hands, people. As we enter the 17th lap of 21, I'm going to go on board with McHugh, as you're going to see a lot of action between McHugh, Harvey and Akikawa. And Finley Taylor has literally just driven away from the 3 behind, and he's opened up a little gap. But as you can see, Harvey is going to try and look up the inside of Akikawa into the chicane. McHugh hits the back of Harvey. No damage, I don't think, but that is pretty irresponsible from McHugh. Isabel Harvey though, not too far off the back of Reina Akikawa now. I'm not entirely sure what that lapse in concentration or pace was on the last lap, but it looks like Harvey has recovered now. McHugh, on the other hand, is dropping a little bit away, and it looks like now we'd have a battle for second between Harvey and Akikawa. As we look back, Harvey has a look, thinks a little better of it. And in the end, Harvey tucks him back in behind, knowing that she's got time to make up the positions, although she's going to have a little look up here, threatening Reina Akikawa now. And it looks like Harvey, to me, is just eyeing up where she can overtake. And so if Reina Akikawa, you know, gives her the room, she's had her dress rehearsals, and Harvey can put a move where she's already had a look. Top 4 spreading out a little bit now though. About a half a second gap between each of them, separated by probably around 2 seconds total. And so it's a very close race between McLaren and Williams, which is, well, exactly what you want to see, if I'm honest. And Finley Taylor is now going to try and control the race, although Akikawa right on the back of Taylor now, and she thinks a little better of it going into the chicane. Of course, it's a very tight chicane with raised curbs. And Taylor trying to control the cars behind. The fact that this is quite a large circuit as well, by the way, it means that people who would usually be lapped probably aren't going to be lapped, so it's going to be a straight fight for the win. No back markers coming into it this time. Harvey having a little look up the inside of Akikawa. Akikawa moves over to the left. That's pretty rude, if I'm honest. I'm actually going to get a replay of that. So as you can see, coming down the straight, if I can get a better shot. So Harvey goes to the inside, and then Akikawa moves across in the braking zone to close off Harvey. Akikawa really defending aggressively there. And Akikawa still in second. Perhaps she's going to attempt to move up the inside of Taylor into the right-hander. They go alongside each other, and Akikawa has failed miserably and got stuck in the middle and backed out of it. And that has allowed Isabel Harvey to overtake Akikawa. Smart move from Harvey, not so smart from Akikawa. Akikawa goes back to third. And in fact, Thomas McHugh isn't looking too far away either. You would have to say he hasn't looked like he's had the pace all race, but going up the inside into turn one, he has a look, but doesn't quite decide to do so. But they're all going to be slipstreaming down the straight. We're on lap 19 of 21 with just 3 to go. I'm going to have a quick look before it's too late to have a look at the people who are out of this race. Have we had any additions? Oh no, we've had Juanlu Ramirez retire. He was running so well in that Fond Metal, but it's decided to give out, and that is a real shame if you ask me. But of course, it's going to be the dying moments of the race now, and Finley Taylor is still your race leader, but with 3 cars in behind him, any which one of them could win. It's going to be about making the moves at the right time and defending for your life. So Harvey pulls to the inside as we're going to head up towards the chicane. Harvey wanting to get past teammate Taylor, and Harvey has actually made that work. So Isabel Harvey retakes the lead once again, and Finley Taylor, is he going to snap straight back? He's going to look to the inside into the right-hander, and he doesn't quite make it work. If I were any of these drivers, I would want to lead this coming into the final lap. But of course, you have to bear in mind that slipstream is very powerful, especially with how many straights we have on this circuit. And in fact, that may make it so Finley Taylor doesn't feel too bad about being second into the final lap. But we are on the penultimate lap now, so 2 to go, and now it comes down to Finley Taylor and Isabel Harvey. As you can see, Taylor right on the back of Harvey thanks to slipstream. Is he going to look up the inside into the first chicane? He has a look, but Harvey brakes very late and has defended that very well. As I bite my tongue, thanks braces, and thanks hay fever once again. But as you can see, the top 4 really, I think this is going to absolutely explode coming onto the final lap. Each one of these drivers are really going to want at least a place on the podium, because of course one of them isn't going to get on the podium, and of course all three drivers are not going to win this race, but they could. It just comes down to where you're putting your car. But as you can see, McHugh has a little gap, and as you can see, Akikawa went to the inside, and then Taylor went to the inside. And it looks to me that Akikawa is making a move now and hasn't quite made that move work. So Akikawa, a failed overtake, that might be costly for Reina Akikawa as she stays in third. And here comes Thomas McHugh, looks to the inside, but Akikawa also goes to the inside to try and overtake Taylor. The gap is now 0.6 of a second. Isabel Harvey with a nice buffer, and she is in the driving seat to win this race. Can anyone get her on the final lap? Only time will tell. As we round the final corner now, as we go and see Isabel Harvey, as we cross the line now, 1 lap to go. The final lap of this race of the German Grand Prix. It's been a strategic one, and one with a lot of brilliant overtakes. And this is it now. 1 lap to go. And here we go then. Isabel Harvey is being slipstreamed all the way down this straight by Taylor, Akikawa and McHugh. McHugh and Akikawa look like they're battling each other. Finley Taylor is looking like he's going for this win, but he's made a mistake there. And indeed, Vinnie Taylor has dropped way off the back of Harvey. Harvey has 0.8 in hand. And that is where, if I'm honest, the slipstream starts to fall away. Coming down into the braking zone for the second of the 3 chicanes. Taylor gets a good exit, but Harvey, looking by the delta, has got an even better one. So Harvey, it looks like she's got this all sorted now. As we go on board with Reina Akikawa, as you're going to see, Akikawa looks all the way to the inside and doesn't aggressively barge Taylor out the way. Perhaps knowing the rules. And coming down the straight for the final time, Isabel Harvey. It looks like she's got this all sorted now, unless for some sort of mistake. The gap is half a second. Vinnie Taylor brakes so late, and so does Akikawa, and they're going to finish in very close proximity, but around the second to last corner. And around the final corner now, it's going to be win number 1 for Isabel Harvey at the German Grand Prix. She wins, and that is a well-deserved win. Isabel Harvey really looked in control of that race all the time, and albeit we didn't have a explosive finale to that race, Harvey is well-deserved win, number 1 in her career. First of many, I hope, just to get a bit more variety, of course. And second place, he fought valiantly. It's Vinnie Taylor and Reina Akikawa finishing off the podium, as Akikawa goes a little bit wide there. Just a bit of cool-down lap shenanigans. McHugh finishes off the podium and sacrifices 1 point to Akikawa, which could make all the difference in the end, but damage limitation for McHugh. He didn't look like he had the pace all weekend. I mean, he did get the pole, but it seems that qualifying is where he strives. Gonna look back further now. 5th place is Louis Sage. That's actually a pretty good performance from the Benetton driver, who I've somewhat slated for being a little bit off the pace. And looking back further now, it looks to me that Armani Risotto in the Jordan Yamaha has got 6th place. It looks to me as well that Roberto Baghetti in the March has got 7th, and Squid McCormick rounds out the point scorers. That is absolutely spectacular. A Jordan got 6th and a March 7th. Take your screenshots now, people. I don't think that's ever going to happen again. So I'm going to exit out to the monitor now, past my audio settings. And here are your race results. So it is, of course, Isabel Harvey who takes the first win in her career by 0.38 of a second over teammate Vinnie Taylor. And McLaren 1-2. I don't know the last time that happened, but it has happened now, and it's a 1-2 for McLaren. Reina Akikawa finishes in 3rd and rounds out the podium. Then we have Thomas McHugh, Sage, Risotto, Baghetti and McCormick. Shah Catano finishes in 9th. Then we have Brian Smith in the Ligier, Marcus Aguirre in the Scuderia Italia, Marin Kozarek in the Larousse, Geddy Schultz, Michael Teller, TJ Nisbet, and it looks to me that Matthew Barton is the last person who finished. Jin Chan Won will get classified. His engine failed with just 1 lap to go, I believe. And then Christopher Coburn also out of the race. If I'm honest, I completely missed that, so I really apologise. And everyone else I already read out as a retirement. But yeah, of course, thank you ever so much for watching this race again. I've been Uriality, Alex. And join me this Friday, of course, for the next race, which I believe... I don't even know what it is myself. Surprise for everyone. So, thank you ever so much for watching. I apologise for the echo. I've had to record in a different room. You may have seen the image I put in the general. And I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Have an awesome week. And yeah, adios, people. Take care.